We're thankful for our guests on tonight, and we pray, God, that you help us to utilize wisdom and knowledge, God, to transform information that will have impact on those who are under the sound of our voice. We pray that, we believe it, and we count it done in your great name, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Before we move forward, I want to set the stage for this show. This is a special night for me. I have what I call two of my sons with me. I have my biological son, Justice Juice Hill, also known as Juice, which I said, and then Antoine Turtle Jones, I'm known as Turtle, but Bishop and I, we're both fathers, and I know sometimes when we get point specific into raising fathers, people will say, "Well, what's the difference between just your father, and why do you always have to bring the racial context into it?" And the thing about it is, I've studied the racial dynamic for a very long time, and not ever trying to use it as an excuse, but to navigate the landmines associated with race in the United States of America. Many times people will say, "Well, Coach, I'm colorblind. I don't see. I don't see a color." I said, "Well, how do you know when to go on the traffic light?" I say, "If it's red, green, yellow, or green, what color is it? Is it all the same?" Mm-hmm. or do you see red? Do you see yellow? Or do you see a color? If you say you don't see color, because even a colorblind person can know the difference, between black and white, because that's all they see is black and white. So we don't want to make this something about race, but what I can tell you, the homicide epidemic and the population that's suffering the most, unfortunately, is black males. I have a black son, a black son-in-law. I have 3 black grandsons. And it's unfortunate to the data. And, it's one thing about being ignorant, mm-hmm. but when you know the data and understands that if my son, Justice, who's here with me tonight, what the data says doesn't make it to 45, the number one cause, that the probability would be that it would be because he fell victim to being a victim of homicide. And with that, I want to first introduce the son that God gave me, and Turtle, and how his experience tied us together. And this is going to be a great conversation, Bishop, because you're father.
Absolutely.
And I know we deal with struggles. And how is little Fred, I call it?
He'll be 13 next month.
I mean, and he's just in that puberty stage, and there's a lot going on. I can remember back Justice's years dealing with that. Questions started to be asked, girls. I mean, just the whole nine. But I'm glad when I met Turtle. I'm glad to say that I met Turtle in 2007. Mm-hmm. Okay, and today, how old are you, Turtle?
45.
Oh man,
this is what I'm saying. Think about this now. He's 45 years old, and then you never. Let's. I've talked to several mothers. You remember the mother we had here whose son was murdered here? Yes. She said,
the twin.
She didn't want a son.
Yep. The twin. Yeah. Uh-huh.
We had him on the show because she said she was afraid that he would be murdered, and he was murdered. Yeah. She said that it's better. She said if I'd had a daughter, that he had been safer. And Turtle, you have some life experiences, and then Justice has some life experiences, and so we have a different context of life experiences but parenting is still a challenge on any, regardless of what the situation is. And but in our relationship, the way we bonded, was through you being on at Arkansas Baptist College when I became president, right. and you weren't going to class. Yeah, so you was just checking in, but then I brought you in, and that whole situation changed because I asked you to do something that you said you hadn't been asked to do before. Speak a little bit about that and how that played a role in your life, because any young black male that I reach, I'm always trying to call them up. Right. In a very positive way, in a loving way. And, as I said, love, food, and positive affirmation, positive touches can really change a mindset. And I didn't know you, and you didn't know me, but speak about how that communication started the path for transformation of your life.
I mean, when I met you, Fitz, man, when I met you, Fitz, like I say, I was going through a lot. I was still like street heavy, you know what I mean? Like, and when it comes to fatherhood, I see fatherhood and experience fatherhood kind of different than some people. I learned how to love my father from a distance because he was somebody that was never there. You know what I'm saying? Like, went to the penitentiary a few years, he tried to do what he had to do when he was here, but he had his personal problems going on, like, and we never click clack as true father and son that I see a lot of people do. You know what I mean? So it was kind of hard for me get adapted to listening to somebody that's trying to be a father figure. Because I didn't even know what a father figure was, so I don't even know how to be a father figure. I'm still doing therapeutic work right now to figure that part out. That's how dysfunctional the households and the homes broken. And man, I went through so much when it came to that. So when I got to school and, I seen, other than a football coach, I seen a black principal, for one thing, that way I ain't never seen. And then he was a father, you know what I'm saying? I immediately took to that, you know what I'm saying? And I paid attention, you know what I'm saying? You demanded my respect.
We call that identifiable role model.
Right. Right, and that's just something I ain't never had. I came out the streets where we ain't had no dad. We was raised by moms, and moms was at work. So we the dads raising our sisters. Our sisters and cousins is our kids. You know what I mean? So when you took a liking to me and gave me an agenda to do, I just put my foot down and said, I'm gonna do it, man. I'm gonna try to show you and not make you look bad for being a principal and a black principal at a school, and just let the world know that you really was doing your work and you really touched somebody. Because that's my whole thing. I want you to know no matter what you think you ain't did, or no matter what people can say what you ain't did, I know you helped me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You took me from darkness to light. You know what I mean? You showing me things now. Like I'm walking with you right now today, and everybody I see to be like, "That go Fitz Hill, man. That go Fitz Hill, boy." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that feel good to me. That's what got me scribed to 45. Because if I didn't have you, I wouldn't be at 45, bro. All them attempts and all them misses came through you at Arkansas Baptist and all the faith that y'all did and had on me. So I had a lot of attempts, you know what I'm saying? And all my attempts were shielded through y'all. You know what I'm saying?
And Bishop Fred, just think about when that's moving to me. And then just think, you talk about the time you went to his neighborhood. You remember when you did that cookout, man, and then he took you that experience, because you remember when we went to Spanish John's and the places I was taking you, and I said, Bishop, man,
I wasn't ready.
No, because you told me that. You Absolutely. Said, man, because we were feeding over there and there was shooting going on, but I mean that's what Jesus would do.
Right.
And
right.
But that touched you when he took you over there and speak about that. You were talking about that.
Absolutely. He actually took me over to Crunk Park.
Crunk Park.
Took Crunk Park.
Ward 1.
And he actually rallied man. He went back and went back into the neighborhood that he used to do wrong in, and went and pulled together gang members from different. He brought them together. And invited them to come out. They brought their grills out, and it was a day of peace. And it was a day that he championed them giving back. And Paul Chapman and Restore Hope and all of us came together. Yeah. You, Pastor Drew, we came together, man, and supplied the food. Those guys fired up the grills. And it really said to me, Coach, that, I don't care how dark of the day is in your life, everybody's reachable. And to see those men and women who came together. We were feeding the children, man. It was like Christmas at Crunk Park in the month of May.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. If violence is to stop in our communities, that's the approach. It has to come from within, because you can police it, right, but that doesn't stop it. Right. You know what I'm saying? That just suppresses it. And it's different. Yeah. You look at it, if you have cancer, you can treat it, but you, like my dad, okay, he had cancer. They treated it, removed his stomach, but he kept smoking. Then he ended up dying. I mean, so if you're going to heal from something, you really have to change. And the mindset, when you talked about the education, the mentoring, Proverbs 22:6 says, "Raise up a child in the way he should go."
Right.
And when he gets old, he will not depart from it. And see what you're just speaking about. You're talking about now. You have sons, and you worried about and so now like I said in the post today. The first enemy of a child is an unhealed parent. Yeah. All right, because but in most cases, like me, see some of my trauma that I put on my son. Yeah. See, I didn't know that. I didn't understand it, because you learn to become normal in your own dysfunction based on your own situation. But then you see, to your extent, if you have somebody trying, and then you don't have anybody in there, so your taking is different sometimes from what that's just dad. But I mean, it's a scenario that we all have to deal with. Fred has to work how he talked to his son, because you hear that same voice, all the time. So how do you, in trying to relate to your son, what are some of the challenges that you've seen based on your experiences and what you're trying to teach and tell him?
Me, first of all, in our community, like I say, 98% of us out there broken homes. We don't got fathers around. So basically, fatherhood, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to show him. Like, he just got a father, period. Right. We at the beginning of the stages. We in the first verse, you know what I mean? So just to let my son know his daddy is here. And then for him to see me, like, his daddy also something special who came from the streets, because I don't know too many people who graduated in graduation stay on the news for 6 months. That's somebody that's chosen. Right. You know what I mean? So he got something to look up to. That's my whole thing, is to show my son that no matter where we came from and no matter what I breeded into you, I changed it, and I want to show him better. Right. So that's what motivate me to stay on the right path when it comes to violence. You know what I'm saying? I still got my personal problems. I ain't perfect. Yeah. But I know when it comes to this gang banging, I'm out of there. I had to tell somebody the other day, man, I'm a legalized person. It's been over 30 years since I did something. I could vote, everything. Like, I'm not a gang banger no more. Like, what is that? And I want to get my son to look at me as a person.
And we're going to talk about, because it's time to go to a break here, that we come back. But as we think about mindset, from going to education, what led to that transformation? You know what I'm saying? I mean, because like you said, at 15, you were the youngest. What would you say?
Youngest black person to ever go to the federal.
Just to be started as
white too. I went directly at 16. My federal case was a juvenile delinquency. You know what I mean? So they held me in juvenile class 2 years flat. And then on my 18th birthday, I got tried as the federal court, which I had already lost to be tried as the juvenile court, and they sent it to the feds for 2 years. And I'm maxing that out.
Yeah. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back. I want to ask you a question when we come back. If it's okay, Coach. I want to ask you, if you can think about this as we go to this break. What impact has it had on your life personally to have a mentor like Coach Fitzhill, to be that father figure, to where you can stand and have the testimony that you have today? Okay. We'll talk about it on the other side of the break. 1st and 45 with Coach Fitzhill, and we're back in a moment.
Black men have so many different problems, so many different issues. Homicide rate, high incarceration rate, fatherless homes. What is America going to do about it?
What are we going to do about it? Yeah, what are we going to do about it? When I say we, I'm talking to black men. I'm asking us, what are we going to do about issues that negatively impact black men and boys to a greater degree than other demographics? Everybody knows about the homicide epidemic in this country regarding black men and boys. While comprising only 6% of the nation's population, we account for 50% of the nation's homicide victims. So what are we going to do about it? Here's another disturbing reality. While making up only 6% of the nation's population, we're about 40% of the nation's prison population. In fact, 1 in 3 black males are projected to go to jail in their lifetime. Again, I ask, what are we going to do about it? Collectively, black men have the means to solve these problems. We just don't have the mind to do so. And means without the mind.
All right, we're back with First and 45 with Coach Fitzhill, and our first guest on tonight talking with Antoine
Turtle.
Jones. Okay, Turtle.
The turtle.
I was going to say Turtle. There you go. I'm trying to prop it as a young man, Antoine Jones Turtle. But
that's 45.
45, man. Listen. We were just talking, Coach, you're having a conversation with Coach, and you're talking to him about your son and conversations that you're having with your son. My question, because oftentimes, and Coach talk about it all the time on the show here, we talk about how the underlying issues lead to all of the negativity that comes out of young men like yourself who don't have hope, don't have that father figure. And you've shared your story about how you've had to, be there in your journey. But Coach came into your life, and you're sitting here today in the studio, you're live in living color, you're live, 45 years of age, you're educated, you got your own degree, you went back to school, and now you're speaking to your son. My question was, what does it do to you? How has it impact your life to have someone like Coach Fitzhill in your life to help you to get on the path that you're on now?
I mean, it gives me a will to live. You know what I'm saying? It make me want to, like, it's times I stray off, and I be like, man, I'm from the streets, man. I can't deal with this. Like, I might as well go back and do what I do. But every time I think about it, I can't let Fitzhill down, or I can't let his agenda down. It kind of scrape me up and put me on the right path.
Because you've been in some big places now.
Yeah.
I'm taking you to some.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Like, mine was, Fitz was different. Fitz wasn't just a regular mentor. He fight black on black crime. Like, he for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we fit it perfect. And then it's like I came in with him in 2006 and left with him 2016. Like, it was just like we was men. And then I had an auntie who took me to Arkansas Baptist. She told me about Fitzhill. She was a Fitzhill fan. And she was just like, man, she was dying of cancer. She had cancer over 20-something years. And she took her last days to take me back to school. So when I went to school with me and my auntie before she died, she said, it's a man coming. And this man is Dr. Hill, and I'm gonna introduce you to him, and you stay with that man. That you talk to that man. You know what I mean? And I promised her that I was gonna give it a try. You know what I'm saying? I was gonna give school a try. I wasn't really knowing about what she talking about, who I was gonna meet. You know what I'm saying? I was just trying to live up to the honor of her. Like, if she was willing to go to school with me and sit up in them classroom with that amount of cancer from her toe all the way up to her head, that amount of pain, then I was willing enough to give my auntie the best and give everybody a shot. And then when I went in there, like I said, it wasn't ordinary. I went in there to a president who had a vision, because a lot of people don't know these new generation don't know what Arkansas Baptist used to look like. That was a real lean on me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you would go to that school, they'd make you want to drop out. You know what I'm saying? You'd be like, man, I'm in crack house. This is crack spot. What am I here for? You could see before he came that why that degree didn't mean that. You see what I'm saying? That's how bad that place looked. You know what I'm saying? It looked like somebody that just go to get a refund check. That ain't what he was on. So he put me on someone to live, and I forgot about going to school just for a refund. I went to school now, like, let me learn about my testimony. Let me see who I am. And let me show them that I ain't as bad as what people tried to make me to be. So people made me to be like I made was probably dumb or something, didn't like school or miseducated.
When I got there, you didn't have a 1 point.
I had a 1.
That's me.
But when you see me again,
yeah.
when my daughter, the first thing you said was, all right, you asked me something, and I looked at you, when my daughter got killed, rest in peace, Kamaya, he pulled up, and Fitz was the first one to pull it up, the president of my school. You know what I'm saying? That locked it in, because nobody came like that. I've never seen nobody, principal, president of their schools, pull up to a situation that happened at their home and like really stand down. And he asked me to pray for him, and that's what scared me. Because in my mind, I'm like, man, I'm finna go to war, like I'm dead. And then he asked to pray for me. That threw me off. It made me like, it shot all the sin out of him because I believed in him. If I didn't believe in him, the prayer wouldn't have worked. But I believed in him, and when he did and prayed for me, I shot all my sin away, and he gave me a chance to live. Because without him, I was reckless. You know what I mean? That's why I thank him so much.
It was a boys in the hood moment.
Yeah, it was.
When I pulled up,
yeah, it was.
Y'all was getting ready to go, wasn't you?
Yeah, it was.
I'm telling you,
we were gonna do what any father would probably do for their child. You know what I'm saying? Especially shot in that fashion, 4 times in the back of the head, 3 times in the spine at 6 years old.
And 63 bullets shot in your home.
You know what I'm saying? In the home, in her bedroom, like 3 days after Christmas. And me getting the house for her to stay in, thinking that I was being a father. I'm trying to be a father this time. I was like, got my kids in the house. I done got a house now. Went from apartment to I done put a woman in the house. Now let me ask her to marry. You know what I'm saying? I'm on that. And I'm going to school too. And I'm working at Tennessee Pride. I'm making good out here. I'm changing. And in the mix of that,
because you had a job. Now you said long time. You said long time ago when people saw you had a job, they thought something was wrong.
Yeah, they thought something was wrong. Like, I can't believe you work, and that hurt my feelings. I ain't lying, man. That woman looked at me like, I can't believe you work. What you think I'm gonna do? Sell dope all my life? Rob all my life? It just how I was when people met.
And and here's the deal. Before I go, that today, as I look at the juvenile violence. And I always tell you this, and it's hard for me to get upset when you were 15 and you caught your rap. You say you out of school.
Yes.
You'd been suspended.
Yes.
Okay. And your whole path, that wasn't just the first time when y'all robbed the post office.
Nah.
That had started, if you were 15, whatever, that had started 5-6 years ago, correct?
Yeah, I've been.
You've been doing a long time, right?
Because the robbery bandits around.
Yeah. So she understand what I'm saying. See, people, you know what I'm saying? For a person to pull a trigger, you don't do that. It's not something you just do at 16. Yeah. It's something that the research says there's something that has led to that. And so, you become traumatized, and so you become desensitized. Yeah. And so then the next thing is that, a hopeless person is a dangerous person. Right. And what he's saying, that's what we said at Arkansas Baptist, growing hope. Growing hope. You know what hope stands for? Helping other people evolve. And that's what I was doing. And I'm going to transfer this over to Juice now in talking about a situation of being around, in many cases, you have been around fatherless young men. Because they called me pops, when I would come to the teams and everything. And I know sometimes, I had to be sensitive because, I kind of felt like a helicopter dad. I'm just flying around and everybody, and I say, hey, what's going on? And here's the one thing. I think one time I pulled up to Kentucky to Murray, and I said, and he doesn't even realize this, but then I say, hey man, you want to go eat? And then it was like, oh, okay, he gonna go with that. And I realized something. So the next thing I did, I said, discernment. I just invited everybody.
Right.
All right. And I did that because, I was there, and I'm always be around just I know sometimes you call me and look, and we have hard conversations. I mean, this ain't,
be like this.
I'm saying, it's not easy, and I said, Turtle, but that's what fathers do. And now you're a grown man, and I know that you're going to make your own decision, but I have to give you the pertinent information I think that God's telling me. Like, for example, and listen,
but I like playing that role because I ain't never had this. So that's why you able to hit me as a grown man, because I'm fascinated by it. I ain't never had a daddy get at me or even do that. So even at 45, I feel like a kid to you. You see what I'm saying? So that's how you can get that out of me. A lot of our kids ain't had a grown man being firm with them.
Yeah, and we have very firm, and we have very firm conversations, and I have to be. and it's interesting. You hear that Bishop say it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
See, I can be more firm with Turtle than I can with Justice. You see what I'm saying? Because he never had it, and he done probably had too much of it. And that's an interesting dynamic.
It's like a song to Justin.
Yeah.
That he's been hearing all his life.
Yeah.
And it's like a song to Turtle that he's never heard, and he want to hear more.
Yeah. And so, and the thing, and here's the deal, and probably the biggest crisis that Turtle and I have, and then Justice too, is rap music. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Now this bro here, he on it. Coach, we need to get that studio because rapper fix everything around here. Rapper fix that. Juice think he rap and stuff. So, but I keep saying, I said, what?
Hey, I don't think nothing.
But shut us down.
But I'm trying to say what's going in the head. You know what I'm saying? What's going in the mouth? What's going in? It's when you look at the impact that it's had. And just to speak a little bit about, how you've seen your teammates and stuff. I heard you tell me one time you heard one of your teammates cursing out his dad. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of tripped you out because they were having that. You said, Dad, I heard him talking to his father like that. It kind of shocked you a little bit. And I said, really? He said, yeah. He said, man, my dad, ain't no telling what would have happened. I mean, so you saw that, and it kind of speak a little bit about the difference. Have you having a father versus those, and then, we still have our battles. And I've learned because of my trauma that I didn't know about as I was raised and coaching you, and and that I would do differently, and I will do your nephews differently, because of that. But I didn't know, and I'm doing the best I can based on the situation I had. Turtle's doing the best he can based on the situation he had. And I pray when you have your children, you will do the best you can, learning from the mistakes of others. But speak about how you've been able to navigate that, and maybe even help some of your partners.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I feel like growing up in those situations and coming from a situation in which I did have a father, and even, like coming up living in a 2-parent home and being fortunate when I was younger. I feel like that in a way drew my teammates and friends near me, and they wanted to be around me more because they wanted what I had, Right. And then to speak on what you were saying, in my eyes, I'm trying to go to their house because I want the freedom. You know what I'm saying? But they want to come over to my crib because we got you there. You know what I'm saying? We got everything they want. He was going to make sure we had it, whatever it came down to. So I feel like just having teammates around who was a little less fortunate with me, might not have a father, or their relationship with their father was different as they was growing up, kind of made me become a leader in a way. Because I felt like I always played with older people my whole life, but in a way I felt like people looked up to me in a way. And sometimes it felt like it can feel like pressure, Right. Like to live up to, like I do come from a good home, you know what I'm saying? Right. So it's a bunch of different feelings that come with it. Obviously, I'm grateful for it. But like you said, it can sometimes get to a point to where it did feel a little overwhelming because everybody saw me. And then especially coming from like a sports side of it, I feel like a lot of the work that I put in on my own was overlooked because of my dad, Like I think a lot of people think what I got at such a young age came from my dad.
Right. But
they didn't even see what was going on.
Right.
With my dad too, behind the scenes, you know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of it comes with it. But yeah, as far as my teammates go, I just think that it kind of drew people near to me.
Right. And Bishop, I know it's probably time for us to take another. I know. It is. I know it's gonna be on and popping and getting those perspectives. But now we've let both of them. So now in the second half, we can just have this Q&A back and forth, and we're gonna talk about some major challenges that that our young black men are facing, and what based on your experiences, and because we all face these challenges each and every day, and they're not going to go away.
Yeah.
It's part of life. But hey, it's First and 45 with Coach Fitzhill. Got my man Turtle, my son Juice, Bishop Fred, who's praying for us. Hey, stay tuned. We're going to be on and popping in the second half. It's First and 45 with Coach Fitzhill. We'll be right back.
Black men have so many different problems, so many different issues. Homicide rate, high incarceration rate, fatherless homes. What is America going to do about it?
What are we going to do about it? Yeah, what are we going to do about it? When I say we, I'm talking to black men. I'm asking us, what are we going to do about issues that negatively impact black men and boys to a greater degree than other demographics? Everybody knows about the homicide epidemic in this country regarding black men and boys. While comprising only 6% of the nation's population, will account for 50% of the nation's homicide victims. So what are we going to do about it? Here's another disturbing reality. While making up only 6% of the nation's population, we're about 40% of the nation's prison population. In fact, 1 in 3 black males are projected to go to jail in their lifetime. Again, I ask, what are we going to do about it? Collectively, black men have the means to solve these problems. We just don't have the mind to do so. And means without the mind.
And we're back at First and 45 with Coach Fitzgerald, and we got some great guests in the studio. Just having some fun, Coach. But it's good to see them laughing. It's good to see these young men in a place where they can laugh, think, and two different journeys. Mm-hmm. All right, and you said something that really impacted me. You probably didn't realize that while you were helping persons like Turtle, he was inspired and wanted to go and hang out and be connected to the freedom. Yeah, because he could recognize their freedom. At the same token, he considered what he was in bondage. Yeah. But as a man today, kind of speak to that a little bit about, because you got a chance to not only be raised by your father, but you got a chance to see the mentoring of someone like Turtle. And I know it has an impact on you and your career as you're going forth. I know that passion has to hit your heart as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm just 24 years old. I'm still out here figuring myself out. Right. But looking back, a lot of the things that I used to feel like were annoying or get upset about, I could appreciate a lot more now. I feel like me and my dad's relationship has been a lot different the past probably like 2 or 3 years. Just being able to be real and open up. I kind of always felt like I didn't really want to let my dad down, so I would sacrifice who I felt like I really was to try and please what I thought he thought I was, So to me, it was just, I appreciate how I came up now, because I think that if I would have been able to be around those guys that I did feel comfortable or feel like more of myself with, I would have went down a different path, So I appreciate the guidance, and I appreciate them coming to hang out where I was at. So I didn't go where they were at, because a lot of those people that I did want to hang out with now aren't doing nothing, They still out here running the streets. So it's just like, I appreciate it because I done graduated with 2 degrees and I'm set up, whatever it may be, sports, whatever, you know what I'm saying? So I appreciate it in that aspect now. And now I can also see, like, inspires me to want to do that for other people too, And like he said, when it comes time to raise my kids, like, I know some mistakes was made, but I know what being a successful father looks like as well. It's never perfect, but I have a good idea of how to do it. So I'm appreciative of it.
And I think that's important because, the trauma that, losing my father, that's one thing I learned in therapy about how the pain. See, my dad never missed a football game until he got sick. And when I think about now, it chokes me up even now thinking about when he wasn't there, because from 5th grade, 6th grade, all the way up, he never missed a football game until he got cancer. And then when he died, I played my last 3 years with him, never see, and it was always, man, what would Dad think, when I was all conference and, and this coach, that's what that's what he loved. Right. And so, that impacted me and detached me, in a way that, and then, 6 weeks after that, I lost my mom. She had an aneurysm in church. And so now I'm basically, that's why the community piece was so important to me from my uncles, my principals, my coaches, the coaches that, what I try to be to you, that's what they were to me. And so I'll often say, be what you had or what you desired. He had it, you desired it. Okay. Right. And so that's what we had. So, we can always learn, Nelson Mandela, one of my favorite quotes said, if you lose and you learn why you lost, you can win. Now, y'all, I want y'all to hear that. If you lose and you learn why you lost, you have won. Okay. But if you lose and don't know why you lost, you're going to lose again. Right. So failure is something that we can know, and parenting more so than anything, because the thing I was reading a deal in Black history and during the times that Black fathers were leaving in the 1960s. Because here's what you got to understand: in the 1940s and 50s, until the civil rights laws were passed in 1964. Okay, understand only 19% of Black children were born outside of wedlock. So we have a history of marriage and having our children in homes together. It wasn't this way. Okay. So now you take 19% and then over past the 21st century, as many as 74% has been born outside of wedlock. So that's, when you go back and look at your prison population and the things that you said, I said, if we want the hood to be safer, the father must return to the hood.
The father got to be there.
They got to.
That's the only thing they leaking.
Yeah,
they got mama.
Yeah, right.
Like most men raise their head, I got a mama.
Yeah, right.
But
she ain't got no daddy. And she's doing great. She's doing the best she can. The best she can.
In many cases, even though they have the mother, just like in your case, I remember your story. You were at home keeping your siblings while your mom was out working.
At work.
And what were you doing? Being raised by the street.
I'm being raised by the street. Yeah. Becoming the streets, because I got the house that the mama at work. So you already know, like Justice, they try to get over there.
Yeah, right.
They got freedom.
Yeah, right.
So Peace, how you think you did with me? Like as a 45, I'm 45, and you know the way I look up to you.
Yeah.
How did that make you feel?
Oh no. Hey, number one, I know that God has destined you for this story, and I told you that a long time ago. I know your story. I know what I felt like when I came down Martin Luther King Drive and Martin Luther King Drive, and I saw you and your other 3 friends standing up there getting ready to go. And when I came, look, number one, I know it's a spiritual relationship, because number one, it was during the holiday season, and when I pulled up, wasn't nobody in campus, and so somebody told me they were trying to shoot your student last night, and I said, who? They said, Turtle. I said, he right down the street. Said, yeah, they killed his daughter. So I didn't even stop. So I said, where are you? So I just got in my car and came straight down there. And then to realize I hadn't seen you since that office visit. Yeah. And I told you that if you weren't gonna go to class, that was gonna take your spot. And I'll never forget. You say you don't even know who I am. And I said, no, I don't. I said, but I know you ain't going to class. I said, that's one thing I do know. And I said, so we got, because what I believe, when people know better, they will do better. Right. And but the thing about it is, before I say, rules without relationships equal rebellion. Right. And so you have to have a relationship, first. And so, that's what in that deal, I wasn't condemning you. I was just saying, hey, bro, look, here's life living in pursuit of happiness. I've been in Desert Storm. I've been to Africa, and I've seen that students begging me to come to America. When I'm in Rwanda, they were just they know I was president of a historically black college. They dancing for me and want to come to college. I'm in Chicago and East St. Louis and everything. They don't even know who I am. You know what I'm saying? But as soon as I got into the villages, he's a president and he can change our lives. I was able to bring six Africans to here, and they couldn't believe the opportunities that our black people have, and we don't take advantage of. We look at what's wrong, and all they want is opportunities. All right, and I'm saying right now, sometimes we just get so short-minded by the struggle, okay, and we don't understand. And they say that this is not true, but folklore, some say it is. But they say when Harriet Tubman went back to the plantation to free the slaves, sometimes when she went in there at nighttime and she had the strategic plan of freeing the slaves, when she would wake them up, she said, let's go. They said, well, a person born in slavery didn't even know they were a slave. And they say, why are we leaving? So they say, but they don't know freedom. Right. All right, I'm saying. Right. So listen, it's the mind. When you're born into a situation and you don't know what freedom is, you think you're good. Well, master taking care of me. We got food to eat and we're doing this and stuff. But there's something better. And that's what I was trying to tell you. Hey, bro, listen, you don't have to do this in the hood. You get your degree, you get your education, and as long as you're doing right, I'll go to court for you, right? I said, I got your back, right? The best I said, just don't let me find out first. Right. You tell me. Right. That's what I tell him. Same thing he was that he
got all my chops on that phone. Talking about I tell.
No, because I said, wait a minute, man. I said, I gotta find this out from somebody else. I'm your boy.
I knew he was hurt then when I took you serious. I really like, oh man, I messed up.
Yeah.
I feel bad.
Yeah, I said, wait a minute. Now I'm advocating for you, and now somebody else got to tell me about your problem. You can't tell me, but to his point, you didn't want to disappoint me.
I was about to say that.
I didn't want to disappoint.
I was about to say, I got in trouble in high school a lot from my dad. But thinking back, every time I was in trouble, it was because I didn't tell him what was going on. Because I feel like you, I ain't want him to know. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, hey, look, listen. But it would have worked out easier for me. Well, it would have been two ways. Either I wasn't going to be able to go, or it would have been cool. But I was always going to go and let whatever happened. And it ended up, that's why I feel like we butted heads a lot, because I was never honest with what I wanted to do. Because I feared that. Even just listening to what he just said, you going to let me find out first. Like, I'm like, I remember that. You know what I'm saying? I really do. I really do.
You know, as a father, you just
he used to have my friends here. He's like, dude, bro, tell your dad, because he getting on me. And my boy Willie listening, he can not his day.
Hey, we're gonna take this break and come back. I know Bishop don't want to take a break, but we gotta pay some bills. And we gotta pay some bills, and we're gonna come back to the fourth quarter. First and 45 with Coach Pitfield, Turtle and the Juice. And the Bishop. And we'll be, stay tuned for the fourth quarter. We'll be right back.
As a former football coach, knowing the engagement that takes place on the football field, the basketball courts, the track, baseball, outside of extracurricular activity, META is the best academic curriculum I've seen for the oftentimes socially challenged student. And glad to have a pilot program going here now with Hamilton Learning Academy, as well as juvenile detention facility, to inspire, grow hope to a population of kids who sometimes don't believe that in the United States that life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is for them. And so this opportunity allows them to see that, to feel that, and to engage in that.
and to leave here thinking that I can do something that maybe they didn't think they could do prior to enrolling in the Meta 24 program.
All right, who's the CFO? Yeah. Come on up, come on up. Yeah. Give the CFO a round of applause. All right, what's the marketing and promotion team?
My name's Shania, and I make this pillow. It's a baby pillow for babies. It can be for a boy or for a girl. It's saying, be what you want to be. I really want to make a side hustle of this and like give pillows to the hospital so you don't get good rest with like soft pillows like this.
In the future, I want to 3D print some stuff that will help us in the world. I would love to print 3D houses to help architects build real houses because there's a lot of people in the world that homeless right now, and I feel like if I'm able to print 3D houses, I feel like architects can make more houses faster.
All right, we're back at first and 45 here. We're in the last final quarter. It has been a great time tonight. And Coach, I know that and the whole reason that first and 45 exists is for the purpose of saving those lives. And we're here to celebrate the touchdowns in the Juice Festival tonight. The touchdown in Turtle. Turtle was talking earlier about the fact that he is what he is. But himself, you're helping him. He lived with his own daughter, right? And there's another side that to celebrate. Becoming uncle to. I've never laid eyes on him, but that's what this is all about. We got to talk about that for a moment because Derek Olivier, he is the reason that you have walked away from so many things that you can walk away from, and then you have Mother Olivier, who's become a mom to all of us.
Saw 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and now you are championing the cause together other men to what we're celebrating tonight. Turtle is 45 tonight. Kind of speak to Derek and speak to because at the end of the day, we're wanting persons to hear. You're wanting persons to hear that there is hope, and we can give these young men hope.
Yeah, and I think it's so important. Thank you for throwing me that assist. I think it's important to understand just because you were not born in or had to survive the neighborhood or the environment or the hood, as from Turtle what he referenced, that doesn't mean that you're safe from it. You know what I'm saying? Because just like, there have been some recent homicides in our city, and the kids didn't live in that community. They just had to visit the community, and they ended up a victim of circumstances. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so, Derek changed my life because that was Derek. Derek was not a hood kid. In fact, the young man came up and told me after the man who knew had murdered Derek, that who it was, and we saw it on film, right. And so, when I was talking, even I'm gonna tell you, I was sharing what Papa Joe did when I was down there. It snowed in New Iberia. He don't know this really touched me. When I spend the night, I stay in Derek's room. Derek's room hadn't changed since he left. Okay. But it snowed in New Iberia, and it doesn't snow down south. Papa Joe wrote D.O. in the snow. He wrote his initials, think the spirit of Derek. And I just know how he misses his son. And so, and I sometimes feel guilty because, as Mama Olivier said, she sent her son to me, and we had to send Derek back to her deceased in a box. Okay. And that hurts me to this day because that could have been my son. All right. My son roamed the campus at Arkansas Baptist College during his whole city left. He was always, and from one to I'm leaving there. He's over in the gym with Coach Rip doing about and I didn't micromanage him at Arkansas Baptist College. He thought he was the little president over there. He thought he was running things. That's my dad. So when I dropped him out, that's why he went to see little Chris today. Chris, played basketball coach. He's still hanging out with him. But all those things came out of those relationships, and Arkansas for a decade, that was my life. And they ate there, my team, the whole team, we fed them and we did all of that. And so, yes, when that happened, it changed my life dramatically, because I thought at one time I was going to go back into coaching, but God said, no, this is your calling. Because this is I could have I could impact a few lives, but saving the lives now. And we're going to be talking about this because in my next issue of First and 45 to talk about how many black males have been murdered in Arkansas, almost 2,500 black males in the 21st century since 2000. Now I just want y'all to think about that. All right. Now, and know that 30 black males were murdered today in the United States of America. And you won't hear about it unless, number one, they're killed by police, killed by somebody outside our race, a rapper, or or athlete, a prominent athlete. And so Derek's instance changed my life. And I'm going to say this story because a young man said, I said, well, 12 months later, he came and told me who killed him.
Yeah.
And that's when I called the police and reported. And I said, well, why did you tell me that? He said, because, and this is what I learned about our community, and you may speak to this, Turtle. He said, I couldn't tell because they didn't arrest him and he would have been out on bond and he'd kill me.
Right.
And so he said, so now, I said, well, why you tell me now? He said, well, this is his words. He said he murdered the white convenience store clerk in North Little Rock.
Right.
Now, this is what the young man told me. So this mindset, listen to this, Bishop Juice. So this mindset really taught me something. I said, well, why are you telling me now? He said, well, if they would have let him out on bond by killing a black person. He said, but he killed that white female coach, Dr. Hill. He won't get out. And I said, what do you mean? He said, no, they got him on camera and it's the same person. So now they have the evidence. And I said, well, we had the evidence. He said, but he would have got bail. So Turtle, so is that
yeah, that's how it works. Like I say, you killed the white lady. You out the top be like, it's a game banger. They say what they want to, but when it comes to just killing white folks, they freeze on that. Like, it's just hard. You have a stigma on it's easy for us to kill ourselves. But when you go to kill that outside race, you gonna think. You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't gonna never get out. You know what I'm saying? They govern their own.
And I just read a book about that. I've been reading a book about
put some value to ourselves.
And that's why when you look at this epidemic, you know what I'm saying, we and you look and people say, well, coach, well, coach, why are you singling out this? I said, well, why are you singling out this race? I said, because it's the only race that is an epidemic.
Right.
That's it. I say, so, like COVID, it was a pandemic, so we shut down there. I say, so what do we have to do? Hey, we got 2 minutes left, and hey, Juice, you got anything else you want to say before we get ready? You good? Then I know Turtle, I'm going y'all 30 seconds each for close.
Speaking on what we just said as far as adding value to ourselves, I know that personally, I have a lot of friends that are in the city who I feel like are going around and feeling like because they did this to me, we got to do this to y'all. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like at some point, like you said, we got to put value on each other, and nobody can start it but us. And like I said, I got a lot of friends out here my age doing the same thing. So, and also the last thing I want to say is you don't gotta be from no specific thing or do anything specific to be hard, you know? Right. Like you don't gotta put on no front. Just be yourself. Right. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah. Turtle.
Me, I just when they say value to myself, I want to thank you and everything, because usually you can Google Turtle and you see something bad, you see something good. Now you made me relevant to life. So you Google program where it says director of 1.5. It says a credibility metric for metal. You know what I'm saying? I got a resume in the internet. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Being somebody, I got some value. You know what
bragging rights, man.
Yeah, so
I'm proud of. I'm proud of.
That's what I want my youngest out here to get.
Yeah,
you know
right.
Don't look at me as turtle like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Go there, Google that, and see why.
Yeah.
I ain't got to tell you that.
Dr. Turtle. That's what we're gonna start calling. Bishop, close out a word of prayer.
God, we thank you for these young men. Thank you for their lives. Thank you for Turtle being 45. And we just continue to pray for both of them. We pray for black men across the world. We pray for the show. And we give your name praise in Jesus' name.
Amen. See you back next week.